Growtopia is a mobile sandbox MMO that was released way back in ye olde 2013 and made by just 2 lone game developers. Since then, it's been snapped up by publisher Ubisoft and has now been released for PS4, Xbox One and the Switch.
Before we jump in though, we should mention that while Growtopia is free to download, you do need a Ubisoft account to play, as it's online only. So make sure you check in with your resident grown-up before signing up.
At a glance, Growtopia gives off a Robloxy version of Minecraft meets Club Penguin sort of vibe. It's an odd mishmash to say the least. The big standout is that everything you need to build with, wear and decorate with grows on trees. Which means you'll be spending a good deal of your time doing this.
The need to grind for resources rears its head pretty early on, but it's handled fairly well, in the beginning at least. Starting out, you'll only be waiting a short amount of time for trees to grow, so you can get a good grasp on how everything works. Very basically, growing new items revolves around combining or splicing different types of seeds. This in turn grows a new kind of tree that drops more seeds. As an avid plant lover, it is my solemn duty to say that's not how things work in real life.
What? No! You mean I can't combine a rock seed and a grass seed and get a brick seed? Next thing you're gonna tell me is that I can't go around punching things to build stuff. Yes, your central method of building, destroying and planting is a rather crudely animated fist, which again does invite some Minecraft comparisons. Unfortunately, you can't upgrade or improve your punch power as there isn't a difficulty scale, nor are there enemies to fend off. So it gets kind of boring after a while, to be honest.
Yeah, this is definitely the type of game where you have to make your own fun. Whether that be by setting goals for yourself, like building a giant Darren out of lava bricks, or by exploring the worlds that other people have created. But because there's no easy way to browse other created worlds, you have to punch random words into the search bar and just hope that whatever you find is A, inhabitable, and B, accessible, as most worlds have locks on them that don't allow access past the front door.
And you do need to lock your world if you don't want strangers coming in and stealing your stuff. Because users are encouraged to forage in different worlds, this puts anyone who doesn't lock their world at risk. This doesn't really seem to support a friendly social network, when often the first time you meet anyone is when they're demolishing the spot you're going to plant your daisy field. That's not to say I didn't meet some nice people. I actually made a couple of friends. One even traded me some clothes.
But it doesn't encourage you to go out and make those connections when your first introduction to the system is, people will come in here, take my stuff, and then wave their fists at me.
Exactly. Not to mention just getting into the chat menu is a struggle, on the Switch at least. In fact, most of the menus in Growtopia are quite a mess, especially if you're playing outside of handheld mode.
Now, as this is a free game, it is worth mentioning that while microtransactions aren't forced on you, they definitely hang over your head like a tempting little carrot attached to what can be quite a pricey stick. Because there's no skill or competition involved in Growtopia, saying that purchasable items are just cosmetic doesn't really hold any weight, because showing things off is the whole point of the game. You want to have the best looking world, so things like themed clothes, weather-changing devices, and rare seeds are all very tempting. And they aren't always cheap.
Yeah, no kidding. The item of the month, for instance, at the time of review costs 200,000 gems. The most you can buy in one transaction is 120,000 gems in the monthly gem pack, which costs 45 Australian dollars. So GGS peeps could be looking at paying upwards of $60 for one item.
You can collect the gems yourself by foraging and harvesting trees and blocks, but it takes a lot of grinding to even get close to what the store is asking for unique items. And I just don't think that's fair or safe, especially given how oriented this is towards younger gamers.
I completely agree. All in all, I can't say there was much I enjoyed here. The only real fun I had was when I was engaging with other users, so maybe this would be more enjoyable with friends, but again, the enjoyment isn't coming from the game itself. I can't say I recommend this, so I'm giving Growtopia 1.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Even if we ignored how much we dislike the microtransactions, there's not a lot working here. The building gets tedious quickly, the menus make basic navigation a challenge, and I never felt like I was being given an incentive to continue playing. Back in 2013, Growtopia was quite a popular mobile game, and I can kind of see why. But 6 years on, it just doesn't quite stand up, especially in comparison to similar titles. So I'm giving it 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.